Alright, so this video is going to focus on rotations. So the very first thing we're going to do is go through and you're going to be graphing or plotting these points out just as a review. And then you're going to reflect it across the y-axis or x-axis. And again, if you plot it across the x-axis, the term that will change will be the y term. So instead of being like a -4, it will be a +4. So it'll be -5, +4, and so on. -5, +2. And that's because we're reflecting it across the x-axis, which is this one down here. For the essential question, what are the three basic ways to move an object in a plane? Well, there's the flip, the slide, and the rotation. Those are the three basic ways that we'll be moving them. Here's the key idea on rotation. Basically, there's three main parts. That a turn is a transformation that's turned about on a center of rotation. So this right here is the origin or the center of rotation in this case. So I'm going to change this piece. I'm going to turn it by 90 degrees off of this center of rotation point. And then I said 90 degrees because that's the amount of the turn. So that's the angle of the rotation. So we're going to go through here and we have this puzzle piece and we want to rotate it clockwise. So again, clockwise is to the right. It's going kind of this direction. And we're going to do it 270 degrees. So I could use the green pieces, but I think it might be easier if I use the white piece, since there's only one of those. So if I move this to the right, and this white piece is now on the top, that's been 90 degrees. If I move it over here, that would be 180 degrees. And if I move it down below, that's 270 degrees. So I'm looking for a puzzle piece with a white piece on the bottom. And there's only one of those, letter C. So we're going to go through here and check it out. So again, we're rotating above or clockwise on a point P. It will look kind of like this. Here's my point P. I'm going to rotate to the right 90, 180, 270. And it's right, I think I did that backwards, I'm sorry. Here's my start. So I'm going to go over 90, 80, 270 right here. So this is my end piece. This is my start piece. For this one here, it's saying that we have this rhombus, or I'm sorry, this trapezoid. And what we're going to do is we're going to plot it out, and we're going to rotate it above the origin 180 degrees. So the first thing I want to do is quickly go to the origin. So that origin, of course, is right here. And I'm going to look at the difference here between this. And I'm going to first plot my line. So from here to here, my shift over changes over 1, down 2. So I'm going to go over 1 and down 2, and I'll be right here. And that point right there should be point Z. So that's my Z. For my point W, let's see what that is. So I go down 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, I'm at point Z. All right, so let's figure out my W. So I go down 2 and over 4. So I go down 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 is over here. So right now I have this point, this point. This was my Z prime. This is my W prime. This is my W prime. I'm then going to go over here and figure out this one. So my point to the origin is over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go over 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is my Y term. And then for this one, W, I go down, I'm sorry, my X, I go over 2, over 3, and down 4. So I'm going to go over 3 and down 4 right about here. So I'll connect this, and let's see if that's right. And sure enough, whenever I plot it out, it is basically that same thing. So that's how you plot these out. I look at this example here. I'm now going to rotate above the counterclockwise. So I start over here and it says counterclockwise of the vertex L. And I have to go 90 degrees. So I'm right here. If I go up and down, 90 degrees is right down here. So all of these things shift down. So I draw a straight line going this way. The same length, and this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how I put that point there. And then of course going up, it would be 1, 2, 3, because this was also 1, 2, 3. And then I connect it. And that's how you figure out, because it's got to be congruent. It's got to be exactly the same size. I'm not changing that, I'm just changing the rotation. So for example 4, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to take this one here, and we're going to start off with the rectangle -3, -3, so that's right down here. And I want to rotate it up this way. So I'm going clockwise. So to go clockwise, I have to go 90 degrees, which would go from here over to here. And that's why if I look at my points that I move, I go up 1, 2, and 3, and over 1. So I go over 1, 2, 3, and down 1. We'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. So then I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 1. And that's how I get it. So it's always the same amount of steps if I look at it. For this one, it says, describe a sequence. Well, I have to do two things here. Number one, I have to rotate 90 degrees. So I'm going to rotate this entire thing on this axis, or on this point of 0. I want to put it 90 degrees, so it's up here, kind of going right here. And then I have to rotate it up. And since this point will be down here, I have to go up 1, 2, 3, and 4 points up. So if I look here, 90 degrees. So after rotating this, slide the figure up. So here's one way to do it. Again, my rotation, or my right here of 90 degrees. This is what it'll look like after I rotate this red shape 90 degrees. And now again, I'm taking this point, and this corresponds to this point, and it goes up 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just like this point will correspond to this point by going up 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this point will be 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this one as well. So it says identify the transformation. This is just a translation here. This would be a reflection. This would be a rotation. And I know that because I'm physically moving this to the side. I can tell that this is the same direction. So I'm just moving it from here over to here. That's a translation. And then since they're opposite of each other, there's a line in the middle, which is your mirror. And that's pretty